All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another voiceover video here. I wanted to expand on my previous video on buying and selling. In that video, I had said that I had a list of farm machinery that I had bought and sold over the years. I managed to find the list, and looking it over here, I for some reason had stopped. There was more equipment that I was able to buy and sell, and I just never put on the list. So yes, you are watching some more recycled footage. I'm getting a lot of miles out of this footage from earlier in the year, but either way, I wanted to do this video. I want to read down through this list for a couple reasons. For one, I don't know if guys might find this interesting or not, but if you guys own a piece of equipment or are just interested to know what equipment that I had run through my previous business here, all right, I'm going to go through the list and just kind of give a little bit of detail about each piece, and bear with me here. It is a pretty long list, but maybe I'll try to make it interesting for you guys. All right, so right off the bat, I had an International 350 chopper. I had bought this chopper. It had a one-row corn head on it, and I believe it had a hay head, if I remember. I got it home and went over it. I found there was a gear that was bad in the gathering chains, a sprocket, and it wasn't available. I took a piece of flat plate steel. The gear was broke in half, so I managed to lay it on this flat piece of steel, trace it, turn it, trace it, and I was able to cut it out with a torch and grind it down, and it was back in business. So it was an International 350 chopper. I never used that. I'll tell you guys whether I used it or not. All right, New Idea 2-row corn picker. I don't remember the exact model of the New Idea. It was the wide row because I had a wide row corn planter, and that's how I was going to pick corn. I did pick corn with that. I did use that at the farm. It worked pretty good. That thing was a nightmare to try to load on the guy's truck just because it was a wide row and trying to fit a 2-row wide on a trailer. It went on. I think that one might have went to New York. What do I have? A gravity wagon. Yeah, I bought a gravity wagon for the corn picker. We had sanded that thing down pretty nice and painted it. That turned out to be a nice gravity wagon. I think that went to Delaware. Those guys came all the way out from Delaware for this gravity wagon. I had made a rollover tarp for the top, and that was the main selling point I think that they were interested in. The rock picker, I had a Schulte rock picker. It was the real type style. Still looking for a picture of that. That piece of equipment I had bought to use on the farm, I did play around with it a little bit, but I never really was serious about using it to pick rocks. I managed to sell that. That one went to South Carolina. The guy sent a truck up from South Carolina. I had talked about that in previous videos, a couple previous videos. That was my highest turnaround per dollar for selling it. International drag harrow, that I used. That was part of my operation before I got a transport harrow. It was a 4-section drag harrow that was in pretty nice shape. It had 4 sections that bolted together. It had a big piece of pipe on the front and a chain to pull it around. I used that for about 2 years when I first started farming, and once I got a transport harrow, I didn't really need it anymore. Moving on to the transport harrow, I bought a white 283. You guys may have seen pictures of that on Instagram. That was all right. I got it cheap enough, but the previous owner that had it ran it without points, wore it down, and there was only one hole to put points on. So the tines were either unavailable or they cost a fortune. So I put one bolt in to hold the new tines on and then just tack welded it at the top to use it here on the farm. The problem with that white harrow was the tines were not on springs. They were on, it was just spring steel, and going through the rocks that we have here, I kept breaking them. So I ended up selling that. Still made out on it. Somebody wanted it for making deer plots, so he didn't care if the tines were welded on. Brillion 16-foot harrow. That was the next transport harrow or field cultivator that I bought. That was a mess. That one, I got it very cheap. I'm looking at the list here. I think I paid $100 for that. Brillion 16-foot. It was a wing harrow. The one axle was broke for the wheels. We had fabricated and welded up a new axle for it to pivot, and also the hinges on the wings were broke. So we had made new hinges, and I did use that on the farm. That was pretty nice. I couldn't fold the wings down again because I only had my 544 at the time. Ontario grain drill. Looks like I paid $75 for that. That had a wooden box, and it was pretty sad shape when I got it. There wasn't much I could do because parts availability was kind of tough for that. I did plant with that. I planted rye, I planted wheat. That got a lot of miles here on the other farm. So yeah, that Ontario grain drill, I did enjoy that. International 2-row corn planter. Yeah, I have 2 of those. I bought 2 fast hitch international corn planters. And again, I didn't have a fast hitch. Those I basically bought to resell. I did all right on the one. The other one was in a little bit rougher shape, and I just got what I paid for it. So at least I wasn't out anything. New Idea funnel spreader, a 3-point funnel spreader. That's pretty well self-explanatory. Land Pride 3-point finish mower. That I used on the farm. Woods rotary cutter. I'm trying to think which one that one was. I had so many rotary cutters. Brilliant rotary cutter. International 82 combine, pull type combine. That went to an International Harvester collector. It was in kind of rough shape. I did use it. I did combine oats with it on the farm. So that was my first combine. And I just decided I didn't really need it, so I figured I'd put it up for sale, and I did have a collector buy it. Cub Cadet, that's a lawnmower. Post hole digger, like I say, a lot of this little stuff. I had a fast hitch 3-point rake that had sold. That was kind of a rarity, another collector. New Holland 489 Haybine, I had quite a few of those. That required a lot of work. That one, I actually bought 2 New Holland 489s. I had talked about this. One had a busted wobble box. I changed it around, made one out of the 2, scrapped the one Haybine, sold the other one. International 435 baler, that was my first baler. I did use that at the farm, but I had nodder problems with it, and it was just getting me frustrated, so I ended up advertising it, and I told him, I said it's not working right, but the guy that bought it said he's very familiar with them. That was a very nice baler. Oh, that was nice. The paint on that thing, just original implement tires on it. Real nice baler, but just nodder problems, and I just kind of got frustrated with it. Hardy sprayer, Massey Ferguson number 9 baler, Massey Ferguson number 10 baler, International 800 corn planter, that I used on the farm. Husky 200-gallon 3-point sprayer, Raven 120-gallon 3-point sprayer, Husky 200-gallon trailer sprayer, 16-foot truck body. Oh yeah, I sold the box off of the one Lodestar truck. It was a dump body. That one went to New York State. McCormick grain drill. That was the grain drill that I had bought after the Ontario. It was the it still was the rope style. That was my second grain drill. I did use that a lot. I planted some rye with it. Let's see. 489 Haybine parts. Yeah, I sold all the parts. Mott 3-point flail mower. I had one of those 3-point flail mowers in the Mott brand. Woods belly mower. I had bought a Farmall C that had the belly mower on. I didn't like using the belly mower, so I had sold that separate and restored the C. Gale 1060 chopper. New Holland hay wagon, new Idea 213 manure spreader. Just working down to the list here. I'm trying to keep this moving. 1963 International Lodestar truck. That was the one I had sold the dump box on. Those Lodestar trucks aren't worth a whole lot, but it had a real nice body on it. A real nice dump body. I think it was a Morgan truck body. I forget what it was exactly. The body was wonderful, and I decided that being that these trucks don't bring a whole lot of money altogether, I managed to sell the box separate and the hoist, the body, box, and hoist all separate, and then sell the truck. I still got something for the truck, but that was the way to try to maximize profit on that. Pittsburgh Transport Disc, I think that was a 10-footer. New Holland 268 baler, that was another baler that I had and had used. New Holland 851 round baler, that I used. I tried to use that. That was that chain style baler, and I didn't like it. It just wouldn't. It just kind of made a mess. But I did use it. I did have high hopes for it, and I just ended up selling it. New Holland 36 flail chopper, Fox silo blower, New Holland 275 baler. Now that one was mine. That was the one I finally had that I settled on and really liked and used. That one was sold a little bit later when I was leaving the other farm. New Holland hay wagon. I had a bunch of New Holland hay wagons. Massey Ferguson 50 tractor, Farmall C that I had restored, John Deere 7000 corn planter. Like I say, that one I had used. I had an International 56 4-row corn planter. That one I used also. Hay wagons, Polaris 4-wheeler. I have a story about that Polaris 4-wheeler. That I didn't want to sell. I had it went for parts. Another 10-foot transport disc, another Harrow, another grain drill, another International grain drill, another Woods rotary cutter, Woods rotocutter number 2, 3, 4, 3-point blade, another 3-point funnel spreader, Century pull type sprayer, 1978 International Lodestar truck. That was the one that I had used the most when I was combining my rye. That was the truck. That was my grain truck. That was pretty nice. I had gone over that. It was pretty well ready for the road, and I ended up selling that to a guy. Let's see. When my combine was hit by the train, I sold the corn head and the grain head. What else here? Massey Ferguson number 12 baler. Let's see. Another International grain drill. Just going through here, and I had another okay, that's about the end of my list. I know a couple other things that I didn't have listed. I had an International forage harvester. This was a little bit bigger. I can't remember the number on it. It had a 2-row corn head. It had the hay head. That one, I had bought it at a sale, I think, and it had a bearing out on the front. PTO, and being that everybody could see that and was walking by it at the sale, I think that went pretty darn cheap. I ended up towing that one home. Some of these were in a lot better condition than others. Like I say, I had a ton of sprayers. There's a Hardy, Century, Husky, Raven. What else here? Another Woods rotary cutter. So yeah, that was kind of there. I'm sure there was a lot more. There was a lot more 3-point stuff. There was quite a few post hole diggers. There was quite a few 3-point blades, stone rakes, a lot of that stuff that I didn't really bother keeping any type of records for. But yeah, that's kind of the list of things that I had, and a lot of that I had used on the farm. Just looking here. If there's anything interesting. Like I say, I think the furthest away was the rock picker that went down to South Carolina. The guy had called me, and he bought it sight unseen and sent a truck up to pick it up. We loaded it. He got it, and then he had called me back and said everything worked and he was happy with it. So probably the worst thing that I had here on this list was the Gale 1060 forage harvester. I think I had a bigger one too. Did they have a 1065? I can't remember. I had a couple of them, but that one, the knives were all destroyed on it. It hit a rock or something, and that webbing in there that holds all the knives was destroyed. That took a lot of effort there, but and the International 800 corn planter, that was the one I was using here. I did use that. I did plant corn with that. I did go over that. I spent a lot of time. I even repainted the thing. It looked like brand new. Then finally, when I decided to sell it, I had tried that International 56. It was a plate planter. It was a 4-row wide. And it wasn't bad, but it just, I wasn't getting the stand in the rocks that I wanted. So then we moved on to the John Deere 7000. All right, guys, so I'm at the end of this video. I'm sure there's plenty I missed. Today was a washout, so not a whole lot going on. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and hope you found this interesting.